Hey everyone, welcome to this Queen Black Dragon guide for melee. At the time of making this video, melee and magic are the most effective methods, but range can still be used, but you have to expect lower rates. Maximum profit per hour has a lot of requirements, but even if you don't have absolutely all of them, it can still be good. And if you do have all of them, you can be making more than 5 mil an hour, so that's not bad. And the most important requirement of this is of course the super anti-fire potions, and they require 75 herb lore. If you don't have 75 herb lore, I would not suggest doing QBD. I'm not saying that it's impossible to do so, but it might not be the best method for you. First of all, I'm just going to show how to get there to get to the QBD layer. You should already know by the quest, and then I'm also going to show the attacks she does and how you can avoid them and what you should do about them. Getting there is quite simple. Just take a look at the world map you can see on screen. This is located near Port Sarim. The easiest way to get there is by using the home teleport, but you can also use Remington tabs, the captain's log from player on ports, but the home teleport is easy and it works. So now that you know how to get there, let's start looking at some of her attacks. Right off the bat, you can just see the normal attack she'll do. She'll attack with both melee and range. If you're standing far back though, she'll only use her range attack. Now we'll move on to the first special attack of the Queen Black Dragon, and that is the firewalls. These firewalls have a size of 2 squares, and they will move backwards at 1 square per game tick. That basically means if the firewall goes through you, you get damaged. But there is a way to negate this damage. If you time your running, you can run straight through it, because in the game tick where the firewall moves to the spot you were, and when you move 2 steps because you ran, you will not get hit from it. As you can see on screen, it might be a bit hard to understand if you don't know the mechanics of game ticks and running, and walking of course, but if you just do as you can see on screen, it works. Another tip is also to walk 3 steps back, and then when you know you should run, you can just use an ability if you're melee, and that will automatically make you run towards her. Now her next specialty is summoning shadows, or pieces of shit as I like to call them. This is one of the most annoying things about the whole QBD fight. The queen will spawn 1 to 4 of these depending on the phase, and the shadows themselves again will spawn some shadows that'll hunt you down. You can dodge this by running through them so that the shadow just hunts its master, like hunts its summoner, but the problem is that very often these will sidestep, so that even though you did the right thing and you gave yourself the best chance of survival, you will still get hit from it. And the reason you get hit is because the game just, it moves. It's annoying, but that's just the way it is. So whenever you try to dodge these, make sure your hit points are high enough that you may survive even though it sidesteps. Every now and then if there's minions out, she will also start healing off them. She will siphon on her minions and she'll just heal the remaining life points. If you're in melee range and the minions are close to you, what you could do is use flurries to let you both attack the queen herself, and you'll be killing the minions so she doesn't have that much to heal on. It's a good tip, but it's not necessary. On the last phase though, thing gets a little bit worse. If you don't kill the minions, they will start charging a time stop attack. This attack will basically sort of stun you, where you can't do anything, but everything else will go on, so that for you time will stop, but for the others, well, the attackers, the monsters around you, they will just continue attacking. This can be very lethal, especially if she decides to do a firewall, some extreme hot flames, or anything that is deadly. Then you being time stopped is very lethal. So if you ever see a minion shout out words like the spell's almost ready or anything like that, if he's just shouting words, it's worth to take the time and just go kill him. If you're at the end of the kill and you only have 1 or 2 hits left and he's chanting, you might want to just finish the kill and get it over with, but usually the best thing to do is just kill that minion. Also on the last phase, I think she'll do is she'll summon, well not summon, she'll breathe out extreme hot flames. When you're even using your super fire potion, super anti-fire potion, she'll hit you almost for 2k damage each hit. And if you ever see this message in your chat box, you just want to sidestep, go to the side of the area. On the side of the area, these flames won't hit that high, and if you're just staying in those flames, that could definitely kill you. That's pretty much all for her attacks, but there are some mechanics that I still like to go through, and that's when you finish the first phase, you have to click the crystal in the middle. If you don't click this crystal fast enough, what's going to happen is she's going to start spawning worms. So you want to click that crystal ASAP as soon as you finish the first phase. When you finish the second phase, when you want to click the next crystal, which will be located, well, if you're looking from QBD's view, it will be to the right of her. Once you finish the next phase again, you want to click the crystal to the left of her if you're QBD and you're watching out on the map. When we finish the last phase, which is the fourth phase, you'll want to be clicking the one that's directly ahead of her. Also, another thing that can happen is that QBD can change color. If she changes into a green state, well, it'll change in your chat box. If she changes to that green state, she'll be weak to magical attacks, but she'll be strong against physical attacks, which is melee and range. And the opposite can happen, she can go blue, which will make her weak to physical attacks, so she'll be weak to melee and range. All or most of these mechanics and things and attacks will have a message in the chat box, so watch out for that and you'll be prepared for anything. Alright, so this is my suggested inventory if you're using bandos. If you can't afford much but you still have chaotics and you have some armor. You can switch out anything as you'd like, but this is what I'd suggest. The next inventory and gear setup is just the ultimate. This is the best you can use for QBD for meleeing. If you have a Slayer task, remember to use your helm. You can use it for any setup. And also I'd like to just take a little extra note on the scrimshaw. It's a scrimshaw of vampirism. If you use that scrimshaw and use soul split and you have bandos gear or ports gear or good gear, then you won't even need to eat ever unless you really mess up. And once again, these are just suggested inventories. You can mix and suit up whatever you like, beast of burden, anything. Just give these a go, and if they don't work, adjust them until they do. Penance aura is also godly, because if you use it, you basically don't need prayer. So the last thing is actually killing QBD, so this is now going to be a full kill using just bandos and chaotic claws to see that you don't need the best gear to do it. Just a few tips on ability rotations. Your most powerful ability is the ultimate berserk because it doubles your damage and you wreck with it. So you want to get the most out of it. The only times you can get the full effect from it, the full 20 seconds, is basically between phase 1 and phase 2. So you want to be stalling adrenaline. I'll go back into that later. And you also could use it on phase 4 because the faster you take down 4, which is the phase where she has the most KO potential, the faster you get that down, the less time she has to potentially kill you. So getting her down fast is key. Another neat little tip and trick is that when you're running to the crystals, you can use anticipation and freedom to build adrenaline. The second you've touched the crystal, you can use melee abilities and your player will run to its target, which is QBD. You can fit in 3 abilities, but when you use the third one, you'll have a cooldown. So what I suggest is doing 2 abilities on the run. For melee, the best one would be to use the 5-second cooldown followed by the 3-second cooldown, and you'll be ready to do abilities straight away. If you're wondering about abilities, you can just use the ones I have in my bar in my video. The number 5 and number 6 shouldn't really be used unless you really mess up your rotation so that you have no ability. It's just an adrenaline gainer, it's not really the best powerful ability. The thresholds are Flurry, Destroy, and Assault. Destroy has a 20-second cooldown compared to Assault's 30-second cooldown, so in some cases it might actually be best to use Destroy compared to Assault, even though Assault is more damage in itself. Getting to the crystals ASAP is also key. The first phase switch, she shouldn't even be spawning any worms at all if you're fast. For the second and third switch, she might spawn 1 to 2 depending on how fast you are. If there's any more than that, you could potentially be losing a lot of health just because you were slow doing this, so get those down ASAP. Another tip is to stand 1 square left of the middle, sort of, when you're meleeing. This is because this square is potentially one of the holes in the firewall. Another thing, if you're really struggling, is to use Phoenix necklaces. These can save you and potentially save you a kill if you were supposed to die. Their effect is to heal you by 20% of your life points if you get hit while you're less than 10%. So they're a very nice heal and they don't even lose any adrenaline. That was basically an example kill, and to wrap this guide up, I'm going to show you what you should be doing between kills to stall adrenaline. I'm not saying my method is the best method, but I found it to work quite well. Stalling adrenaline allows you to use Berserk on phase 1 and phase 2. It allows you to get faster kills, and you know faster kills equals less potential death, and you get more profit. Why wouldn't you want that? So my method goes something along the lines of this. First of all, you have to touch the final crystal. That's easy. Then, when you leave into the rewards dungeon, shortly after you leave, or at the moment you enter, you want to be clicking Anticipation. This is just to keep you in combat. Quickly loot the chest, space it, go through it, bank all, quickly get out, and you have to get out literally as fast as possible. Just spam click Surge. What will happen when you leave is Surge. Sometimes I'll use a little bit, but usually it goes okay. Right now when you get in, you just want to spam click Freedom. Use Freedom. Now you'll have 10 seconds to click Anticipation, and you'll be having your adrenaline. This just will help you to kill them faster, because now you'll be ready to berserk, and that'll make the kill quicker for you, which is good. More profit, right? And that about sums up this guide. I really hope you've enjoyed the video. It was a bit long, but I hope you have learned something from this. If you still do have any questions, don't hesitate to ask them in the comments. If you haven't done so already, please do subscribe. And as always, good luck at QBD.